Buckets of rain, buckets of tears. Got all these buckets coming out of my ears. Buckets of moonbeams.
And while he was at Bethany in the house of Simon the leper, as he sat at a table, a woman came with an alabaster flask of ointment of pure nard, very costly, and she broke the flask and poured it over his head. But there were some who said to themselves indignantly, "Why was the ointment thus wasted? For this ointment might have been sold for more than 300 denarii and given to the poor." And they reproached her, and Jesus said, "Let her alone. Why do you trouble her? She has done a beautiful thing to me. For you always have the poor with you, and whenever you will, you can do good to them. But you will not always have me. She has done what she could. She has appointed my body beforehand for burying. And truly I say to you, wherever the gospel is preached in the whole world, what she has done will be told in memory of her."
I've been meek and hard like an oak. Seen pretty people disappear like smoke. Friends will arrive and friends will disappear. If you want me, honey, baby, I'll be here.
Okay, Wednesday, everyone. We're back in the normal daily office lectionary readings and continuing on in the gospel. We are find ourselves in Bethany, which is a suburb of Jerusalem, a few days before the Passover and before Jesus' death. So it's not Lent, but in the daily lectionary cycle of prayer, we has its own sort of circular motions. So we're there, and while there, Jesus is taking dinner, and in this account, a woman breaks open a flask of perfume or ointment and pours it over Jesus' head. It's a very expensive ointment, a very valuable, rare ointment. And again, in this gospel account, we know it's Judas, but some of the people were indignant and were saying that the money could have been better spent or saved for the treasury to feed the poor. And so there's some tension there. Jesus responds with, "You will always have the poor with you, but you will not always have me. Let her alone. She's done a good thing." And so that kind of balance always makes me think about, I guess I'm the priest of a church and kind of responsible for making sure the church is in good shape. The balance between spending money on church and worship and spending money or giving money to help the poor and people who can't take care of themselves or people who've had hard times. And it is a balance, because you can go all the way one way and have a beautiful, magnificent, grand, impressive structure, or have tons of things going on and give zero money away, or provide zero help outside of the congregation and outside of the church building itself. Or you can go the other way and have the church or the place that you gather to worship fall apart and just be sort of like a dilapidated room and give all the money away. But I think there is a balance, because like the church I serve, St. John's, our church, people come in all the time. We all have, sometimes as many as 30 people a day will come in there seeking Jesus, seeking peace and forgiveness and mercy and grace and silence and holy things. And for them to come in there, the architecture, the sound, the acoustics, everything points them toward heaven and points them to Jesus. And we also keep Jesus, we have Jesus reserved in the Blessed Sacrament on the altar, and so people can come in and be with Jesus in the sacrament. People can come in and pray with Jesus in the sacrament. And so to have a holy space that's well cared for and points people to heaven and provides that is extremely important, I think, because it's an outlet or an arm or an avenue in which to come close to Jesus and to come close to heaven. The veil between heaven and earth is thin there. And so that's important, but it also can't be at the expense of the poor. So you also have to have efforts faced that way and try to have resources and try to provide help. And the building itself has to become sort of a catalyst for helping the community. So everything has to be symbiotic. It's kind of like in my personal life, between doing things out of love for other people, and then also taking care of our money in ways that also have that balance of charity, charitable giving, providing aid for people, helping people who can't help themselves, or sometimes giving people experiences that they might not otherwise have. So the balance between love and the other kind of love, outreach and charity, is important, not only in our lives but in the life of the church. And if you're all the way one way or the other, your life is out of balance and distorted. And so I think we need to think about, you need to think about, I need to think about how we manage those resources. What do we give to God? What do we give to others? What do we save for ourselves? How do we express love? All of those things. But there has to be that balance. So I invite you to contemplate your own spending habits. I invite you to contemplate the sort of tension between having a wonderful space to worship that is an offering itself, offering of love to God, in the same way the alabaster jar or the perfume was an offering to prepare Jesus for burial and is an act of love. The same way our church, every church is an act of love and an offering to God, but it also has to be balanced with feeding the poor, clothing the naked, visiting the sick, and those in prison. So that all has to be there. So if your life is out of balance, this is a good time to think about those things, or think about how you expend resources and what they go for. So there we go. Wednesday. I hope everybody has a great day, loves one another. I hope everybody does something to show Jesus that we love them, but also does something else to help others to show Jesus we love them, and to show those people the love of Jesus. So everybody have a good day, and God bless you. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit.